anyone who wants to watch this later on can hear this advice. So any questions for specifically or in general to our group of volunteers, Maria and Kathleen and Alan and Chris? Does anyone in the group of us newer folks, what are we curious? What do we want to hear? Just feel free to put the questions out, and I can write them into the chat box so that we can all see them as well.
Tabea, while y'all are getting some questions, I'm probably going to be losing signal shortly, so I'm going to just say a couple of things and then go.
Sounds great, Alan.
You know, like I said, for those that don't know, I'm currently riding in the truck. We're headed to do a field visit, so sometimes you got to make things work, and so don't be afraid to think outside the box. You know, make connections and don't be afraid to reach out to people. It's all right to admit that you don't know something, but there's a world full of district people who do, and they'll be happy to help you. So don't be afraid to reach out to other people. And that's always a big one. As you go through this, you'll be amazed at how much stuff you actually do know and pick up. Always take advantage of training opportunities. Even if you think that doesn't apply to my job, if you get a chance, go ahead and take advantage of those. Two final pieces. Anytime you're going out for people who are doing any type of field work, make sure you're taking really good field notes. Your memory will not be as good as you think it is, especially if you have to visit multiple sites in a day. And time management is huge. So when you're planning your field visits, plan them strategically around the lunch locations in your district so that when you're going from A to B, you can stop and have a really good lunch. So that's always a critical one right there. Me and Michael wanted to make sure we shared that with the group.
Especially when you're riding with your boss and he'll pay, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. But I said, I don't know when my signal is going to cut out. Any real questions real quick before I go?
That was some really great advice. Thanks, Alan.
All right, you're welcome, and you got a bunch of really other good people with a lot of great experience, so we'll be able to help you. Y'all take care, and thank you for letting me be in your meeting.
Thank you so much, Alan. Good luck with your work today.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
I will mirror what Alan said. You know, he was joking, but he's also kind of telling the truth. When you're one thing that Larry Wilkinson, who was our NRCS fellow for a lot of years, is when you go out to a field deployment, don't come back to the office the same way you drove to it. And, you know, he sort of had a superstition about that, but it was also a really good way to learn your area. And that's one thing that served me really well is, you know, people are always, it's amazing when you serve either one county or multiple counties, how little people know about their community sometimes. And when you'll visit with someone, whether it's for a suburban or an urban practice or a rural or ag cost share practice, when you can kind of throw out just sort of community knowledge, like, oh, well, there's a property over here and they're doing something similar, or, you know, you will sort of serve as a community ambassador if you kind of have driven around and you kind of know things in the community. So that's really valuable. And that was good advice I look back on. It's always take a different route back home to see new stuff.
That's great, Chris. Thank you. What other questions do folks have?
Does anyone have any advice on how to make the first step of reaching out to veterans in the district or otherwise?
So I recall when I had first started, the first couple of months, and I think it was maybe well into the first year also, I literally just picked up the phone and called people. Emails are good for, like, I personally think that emails are good if you have already known the person for a little bit, but just picking up the phone and chatting. I actually met with another education coordinator in my first year, and she was in Culpeper and I'm in Fredericksburg, which is a bit of a distance. So we met halfway for lunch, literally like on the border between our two districts. And for like an hour or two, we just spent chatting together. If that's not possible, you know, picking up the phone, I've called so many other education coordinators in my area and even in the neighboring area too. Our district is kind of like right on the edge between two areas, between area 2 and 3. So I actually called both area 3 people and area 2 people just because of geographical proximity. And I've realized that we've had so many opportunities where someone from a different area will come out and they'll volunteer. They're working, but they're one of my station educators for a big school field trip every year. And then I coordinate so that when he has his big field trip, I go to his district, which is not even in my area, and I volunteer as one of his education people at the station as well. So we kind of like swap ideas and we swap our own resources as a person to build better connections between us. So not just sticking to your area, but looking beyond as well. Check out your neighboring areas. That really helped me a lot because I got to see some different perspectives. But calling, pick up the phone and call. I know it's hard. I used to work as a phone operator at a hospital, so I just got used to it, whether I wanted to or not, because I had 12 lines to answer. But it's awkward, and I remember I reached out to Bonnie Mall a lot, who works under Kendall, and every single time I pick up the phone, I'm like, Bonnie, I'm so sorry, I have yet another question. And she's like, no, just, you know, if you have a question, give me a call. And I felt the same way, like I'll call Michael Trop and I'll be like, Michael, I'm so sorry, I have another question. He's like, it's cool, just, you know, what you got? And I've never had anyone who was like, oh my God, Maria, it's you again, really? They've all been very sweet and very kind and very open.
I agree with everything that Maria just said. And I hate talking on the phone. I really do. And I didn't used to, I don't know what happened, but I will pick up the phone if I need to. And that is the best way to do it. Once you've established that relationship, emails are great. And yes, Bonnie Mall is a wonderful resource. She is the guru of education. And she is very, very helpful. The other thing that I would suggest is, you know, becoming involved, learning about Envirothon. That seems to be the glue that kind of brings everybody together at Soil and Water. And so that's something that if you have the chance to get involved with on your area level or on the state level, that's a good thing.
I can just tag on to Kathleen. Maria, I know that we've talked a lot about connecting to education resources and how Bonnie can be of help, and I know that's not necessarily your day-to-day job responsibilities, but you certainly have a network of folks that are ready to help you. If you have questions, pick up the phone, call me at your association. If it's education related, Bonnie. If it's VCAP, our urban cost share program, we've got staff, Kevin, who can help you. But at the same time, your employees association has a network too to serve and help. So if there are ideas on how we can really make this introduction for y'all even easier, we want to be able to offer that and help. So you have not only your association staff that's willing to help make connections, and sometimes it is just a call to us to say, hey, you should give so-and-so and so-and-so a call, don't reinvent the wheel, and I can give them a heads up so that introduction is a little bit easier for you. I'm not one to want to pick up and cold call somebody, so I can help make that introduction for you, but so can your area representative on the employees association, and we can certainly help connect you there too.
That's all really great. Thank you all for your excellent advice. Are there other questions from our participants? I'll put a question out there then. We don't have a ton of time left, so looking for stories or an experience from our veteran employees of a time. Is there a specific instance where an employee or a manager or a director helped guide you in your first year or two of employment? And when you think back to when you started off, what did that person do, or how did that person kind of bring you in and make you feel connected?
I know for me, they sent an email out to all districts saying like, hey, like, we have a new person on our staff. Here's her contact info. And I got some really awesome, like, welcoming emails from people that I may have met when I was an intern or I've never met before. So that was, I think, really a nice way to kind of be like, this is someone you might be involved with, and here's her info, and reach out if you want, or you might hear from her. So that was a really nice way of doing it, I think.
Feedback is actually really important to me. So we manage the all district email, and I love it when we get those requests or see those come out. But at the same time, I sometimes only know who was hired or when you were hired based on your district. So that's something, if it didn't happen for you, mention, or at least ask, am I on all district? How do I get on that all district email list? And can you help me with all district to connect to other people?
When I first came on board 6 years ago, I was not brought on as the education outreach person. I was brought on as a part-time TMDL grant coordinator. And that was a learning curve because not only was it dealing with the TMDL grant and everything that was involved with that, and even what is a TMDL, but also learning how to interface with DCR and DEQ, and I got a lot of really good guidance from everybody that worked in the office with me, because they had all written and they all knew, what was going on. So the district managers, Kathy Clark, Brandon Dilliston, were very good with guidance and patience.
Yeah. Mr. Kendall, do you want to jump in at all briefly?
I guess about, I don't know, year and a half into my employment at the district, I also started as a TMDL grant employee. So my first 5 years with the district, I was operating on a TMDL grant. So I'd always, every year, it was sort of, am I going to get, is the grant going to be renewed? So that was always a little stressful. But, there were some in-house things that I got, really, they're basically things weren't going really well. And it just took one, sort of opening conversation with one of our other staff members at the time. And that led to, a couple other people sort of saying, oh no, everybody's kind of gone through this, and kind of really, sort of rescuing the situation. So kind of mirroring what everyone else has said, but don't hesitate to reach out if you're having, if you're feeling sort of lost or you're having an issue. Don't hesitate to reach out to the people, A, in your own district, but B, even beyond your district, because that helps me a lot as well. I reached out to a former employee from our district who was working for a different district at the time, and that really helped, to get some, voice of experience. So, if you're sort of on the ledge, it's nice to talk to folks to, basically tell you like, whoa, there's nothing new under the sun. We can handle this, that type of thing. So that was real helpful.
Chris, I think that's a really good summary. We're in the relationship business, and you're right. When you come on board, it's how do I improve those relationships, and how do we give to each other? So it's as much of I had a number of folks who helped me along the way that I then needed to know that I could always turn and ask a question, and there was no dumb question. Kemper answered so many of them when I started because he had more background than I did at that point, and had been a resource for me. I think the key point is that we might not know the answers, but right now you have 12 folks on this Zoom call who will help you find the answers. And that's what our biggest takeaway I hoped for was this Zoom meeting today. So know your network is already built, and you've got built-in friends and folks that want to help show you the way and be a mentor for you. So don't hesitate to reach out to any of us.
Yeah. And I guess in closing, certainly the avenues are open for us as new employees to reach out to older veterans across the state. As someone who's only been here for 14 months, it has meant the world to me when that chain of events has happened in the opposite direction. So when an older employee reaches out to me, right? Because then it makes me feel welcome, it makes me feel included, and it lets me know, okay, this space is here. And Alan has left the call already, but Alan and Chris did that to me multiple times, especially at Graves Mountain when I attended for the first time last year, and in subsequent meetings, and opening, and that's led now to this, the wonderful relationships that I have with both of them. And just as we spend more time in the districts, and if we have those interactions with folks, keeping that in mind so that we can kind of turn around and do the same to the newer folks as they come on. So thinking about the experiences that have really meant a lot to us and helped us feel integrated and connected, and then trying to return that and pass it along to whoever new comes on after us. So yeah, leave you all with that, and thank you for your participation today. And I'm planning on sending out a little evaluation survey afterwards, and wanting to hear your feedback and hear how today went. And please, as everyone has said, stay in touch with everyone, and don't hesitate to reach out to each other when we're next in person. Don't be strangers to each other. So, a big thank you, and looking forward to seeing you all again via Zoom and in person.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Have a good day.
Thank you guys. And welcome back, Kemper.
Thanks. Glad to be back.